Hi and welcome back to the second video in this series of understanding layers in Photoshop Elements. In this second video we're just going to continue with our overview of the layers palette. So we'll start off by the top here. We've got the blending modes. You can select these from the drop down here. Now to understand the blending modes, the blending layer is always the top layer which works with the layers below. So you apply your blending layer to the top layer or any other layer which is above others, and that will affect the layers below. And how this works is this blending layer basically inspects the layers below and makes changes accordingly depending on which blending mode has been set. By default it's set at normal, and to select you obviously just select the drop down and select from within. We've added an overview of all these blending modes in the download area, so I suggest you download and print off the descriptions of what each blending mode does, and then literally just open up two images and have a little play around looking down here. By just selecting any one of these randomly, you can see the different effect it has on it, and like I say, the download PDF file will explain exactly what each one does. Also at the top of the layers palette we've got the opacity, where you can select the downward arrows there and just reduce the opacity, or you can type in a specific amount right into there. We've already covered these, a couple of these down here. You can create a new layer by just selecting the new layer there. If you want the layer above, in between these two, you'd select this one and select layer again. It'll always go above the layer that you've got highlighted. So down here we've got the add layer mask. Now this is only available within Photoshop Elements 9 and beyond. They've just brought out 10, so from 9 and beyond you've got this. To apply one of these, you select the layer you want the mask to apply to and just click on it, and you can now see that you've got a layer mask applied. So if we select the brush tool with this image behind and start drawing over this, you can start to see parts of the image behind coming through, and over here on the mask itself you can see where we've painted on in black. If you reverse this back to the white colour, you can paint this back on. Basically black, the black colour takes away and the white colour adds back on. Further along here we've got the adjustment layer icon. Selecting these brings you all these options. We've added another PDF file in the download area which goes through each one of these and explains exactly what the effects are. So same thing applies to this. I would print it off and open a couple of images and just play around with them and take a look at each individual one to see what effect that they have. One thing to work on is if you've got an earlier version of Photoshop Elements, say version 8 and beyond, there is no mask feature there. So if you were to select a solid colour there, you could actually literally use this as a mask. So if you paint straight over onto that, you don't need to worry about the options as far as what colours to select, but you can use this as a mask. So we'll show some tutorials later on where, for the earlier versions of Photoshop Elements, where this can be applied. But as I said, print it off and have a little look. Some great looks that you can get from within here, and worth a little bit of time to get to understand. The next option is select more than one, and then you can just link these two together. You've got the lock transparency. Next we've got the little lock icon where we can lock a particular layer. Doing that, you can see straight away we can't add any blend modes, the opacity is dropped, so it just protects the layer. So if you've decided you don't want to do any more edits to that particular layer, you can lock it, and that safeguards it for any further edits. And finally, which we've already looked at in the previous one, is the trash can. Is just by pulling down your layers you can drag it straight into the trash can, and that deletes that particular layer. So now we've had a good look at the layer palette and had a little look at how layers work. We're going to go into more detailed tutorials on how to create certain effects and certain final images. So we'll see you in the next video.